Hello, folks. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, your friendly neighborhood Christian whistleblower. And what you're looking at is a map of the American Indian tribes and the areas that they inhabited at their height and during the time, of course, that they were alive and well in the United States of America, or what was, of course, before the United States of America. And with all of the unrest, with all of the upheaval, and with all of the difficulty that is facing us as a nation, with the storms and the just all the bad stuff that's going on, I have come to the conclusion that it might be a good idea for us as a nation to apologize for the atrocities that were perpetrated against the indigenous Indian nations, the tribes of the Indian nations that were here before we were here. Now, I don't know that I would call anybody Native American. I don't know that anybody was native to this territory per se, but they were certainly here first, and we certainly did some very bad things, some very unrighteous things, some very deceivious things to the tribes of the American Indian nations. And I think that we are definitely still carrying a debt and a burden of karma. And unless we acknowledge this and offer amends for it, we will continue probably to suffer from it. I think it'd be a great thing for President Trump to admit that there were many atrocities committed against the American Indians by our nation, and that we apologize for that, and we ask for forgiveness spiritually and morally for what was done. Now, I'm not arguing that there weren't atrocities on both sides. I'm not arguing that there weren't things that both sides did that were wrong. But as a nation, we do need to apologize for the atrocities that were perpetrated upon the American Indian nations. And I think that would be something that would start a healing in our land. And you might even see the land itself healing. You might see fewer hurricanes. You might see fewer natural disasters. I mean, we've got the whole thing going on now out here in Yellowstone. That's Montana. Where's Wyoming? I think this is Wyoming. The whole thing of Yellowstone. We've got all the fires out here in the West. You know, Texas has just been decimated by hurricane. Florida was hit by hurricane. We've got other hurricanes swirling around out here. We've got, an invasion from the south. We've got things coming in from the north as well. Our nation is under a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, and you could even say it's under attack. And I believe that we could cleanse ourselves of much karmic debt and much karmic difficulties if we would admit that many atrocities were perpetrated against the American Indian nations and ask spiritual forgiveness. I'm not going to get into reparations or any of that stuff. I'm just saying for the moral karmic implications, we should admit and apologize. And I think that would be also a great thing, and for what it's worth, for President Trump to also do that, for a political statement and for his own personal popularity as well. So for what it's worth. And I think this would stop a lot of the upheaval, a lot of the problems that are going on in the nation. It would at least relieve us of a lot of karmic debt. And while we're at it, we ought to also admit and apologize for the evils of slavery in the American South and in the American North. And of course, there was blame to go on many sides for that. But as a nation, we should apologize for slavery and the moral implications of that. And we also should apologize, and I know that Trump can't do this. He could do the Indian nations, he could do the slavery, but he could not apologize for the subjection of women under Pauline Christianity. But we as people can apologize for our place in that in the past and for our nation's place in that. And I believe that all these things would go a long way. Now, I think we should also take steps personally, like myself. From my place of heritage, I could say that I apologize to the Seminole people. I apologize to the Choctaw people. I apologize to the Cherokee people and to the Shawnee people, because that covers my heritage. And you can look on this map and find out who that you should apologize to and try to make amends with spiritually. So I would say even right now, I apologize spiritually to the Shawnee, to the Cherokee, to the Choctaw, and to the Seminole peoples for the evils perpetrated against them by my ancestors and by my country. And I pray for their forgiveness and a settling of the moral karmic debt. And you could go through this map and touch on these big, large tribes and do the same thing. I also apologize for my part in the subjugation of blacks during slavery, even though I never owned any slaves. I don't know if my family did, but as a Southerner and an American, I do apologize for the actions and the evil actions of my nation, the Confederate States of America, and my nation, the United States of America, for the evil perpetrated in the name of slavery. And as a former Christian minister, I also apologize for the evil done to women under the wicked Roman Pauline system, Roman Catholicism and Roman Protestantism. I apologize for the subjection of women under a system that I have renounced, but on the behalf of my nation and on the behalf of me being a religious member for so long, I do apologize for that. Now, some of you may think this is silly. Some of you may think it's unnecessary. That's okay. You have the right to be wrong. We do have to address the karmic implications of the things that we've done as a nation, and as a part of that nation, we need to address these things as well. So if we want to heal the nation, if we want to stop these disasters and these horrific things that are happening within our country, part of it is to do this, to offer up these prayers of apology, just as I've done. I would encourage each of you to do them individually, and I would encourage us as a nation to do them collectively. And I would urge President Trump to offer apology to the American Indian tribes and to the blacks for the evil of slavery. And it'd be great if he would address subjugation of women through Christianity, but he won't. So there you go. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, bringing you the gospel truth about the need for American repentance. Like, share, subscribe. And if you are a regular listener, please meditatively consider supporting this work financially. The schedule is now open again, fully recovered from the situation here in Florida. So if you want to get personal work with me, go ahead and contact me through the box below. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, giving you the gospel truth that we do not have original sin. We've got the spirit of divinity within, that we should love each other, that we should love ourselves, and that we should be excellent to each other, and get about the business of making the change we want to see. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, and until next time, we will see you again real soon.